2.
President Clinton hires Republican David Gergen to fix what's wrong with the White House press office. And some arrests, but no major trouble as Miami reacts to the acquittal of police officer William Lozano. This is the CBS Evening News. And good evening. I'm Deborah Norville, sitting in tonight for Bob Schieffer. There's been a shakeup in the White House staff. After a week marked by missteps and low approval ratings, President Clinton announced he's bringing a Republican on board to advise him. The announcement of David Gergen as policy advisor came hours before a presidential address to West Point cadets. Jim Stewart reports.
Sinking in the polls and deserted by even some Democrats, President Clinton today announced a staff reorganization and a surprise hiring of a veteran, ardent Republican.
The message here is that we are rising above politics. We are going beyond the partisanship that damaged this country so badly in the last several years.
David Gergen, the new White House chief communicator, has helped Republicans try to manage the news ever since the days of Richard Nixon, through the Ford administration, and most recently with Ronald Reagan. As both men admitted, they don't have a lot in common.
Mr. President, I'm deeply honored by the faith that you've placed in me, and there you are.
I got to your right.
You did get to my right. That's unusual, but we'll look forward to more.
The two met at a series of political and cultural seminars held annually in South Carolina. Gergen most recently has worked as a news magazine writer and political commentator.
I hold the old-fashioned belief that when a president asks for help, there is only one good answer. How soon should I start?
The answer was right away, displacing George Stephanopoulos, who becomes a behind-the-scenes advisor, and taking charge of a youngish and demoralized communications staff that has stumbled badly in the past several weeks.
I think it is unrealistic ever to assume you can take on the kind of challenges that we're trying to take on without having some momentary bumps and runs in the public opinion polls. We can't be governed by that.
But you can try and influence them, and Mr. Clinton left immediately for one of those most popular and colorful of all presidential duties, graduation ceremonies at West Point. Even here, however, the president had a hard sell. Today's brand new lieutenants were reminded that Mr. Clinton's top priority isn't their army, it's still the economy.
Our global era leadership must depend on our ability to create jobs and growth and opportunity for Americans here at home.
That's the message Mr. Clinton rode to victory last year at the polls, and the one he acknowledged again with today's staff shakeup. He has to do a better job of selling. Jim Stewart, CBS News at West Point.
And the task of helping the president sell his message now falls to a man who in the past has advised Republican presidents. White House correspondent Bill Plant has more now on how this marriage of men of opposing politics might fare. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Deborah. To say that they were shocked here today would be seriously understating the situation. Here's David Gergen, who 12 years ago was one of the architects of the plan to sell Ronald Reagan's tax cuts to Congress and the public. Now he comes along, joins a Democrat in the White House to sell a tax increase, in effect to undo the Reagan Revolution, if you will. Gergen is a moderate of the kind used to be referred to as the Rockefeller Republicans. He was viewed with suspicion in the Reagan White House by the true believers there, and he probably will be viewed with the same kind of suspicion in the Clinton White House. But he's skilled at finding points of agreement rather than confrontation, as he demonstrated in interviews today following his announcement.
I think that the people of this country want to find common ground. They want to see progress. They don't care whether it's called Democratic or Republican. They want to see people come together in this city. We've got too many real, serious problems, too many lives that are being broken apart. And I think people want to see an end to it, and they want to see more bipartisan effort. And so, the fact that Bill Clinton would reach out to me, having served 8 years for 3 Republican presidents, says to me that he's serious about it, that he wants to do that, and I welcome that. If he's going to put out his hand, shouldn't I be willing to take that?
That's the message that Gergen and the White House are trying to send. We're rising above politics. The danger is that it could be seen as just another cynical bit of business as usual. Gergen was asked today if he had heard yet from any of his former bosses.
I just sort of can picture the Gippers, and I sort of stand back there and sort of this grin, and, well, I guess life moves on.
Well, a lot of Democrats are not taking the Gergen appointment so lightheartedly. Some of them were furious today, describing it as letting somebody in, the enemy into your camp, as it were, and describing Gergen himself as someone who is out for number one. Deborah?
Bill, if even some members of the president's own party are upset at this choice, what's it going to take for Mr. Gergen to help the president get back on track?
Well, he may be able to help, but in the end, it's going to be up to Mr. Clinton himself to redefine and refocus his agenda. His main problem is not communications. It's that people don't think that he is doing the job they elected him to do. So how much a David Gergen will help remains to be seen.
And we'll, of course, be watching. Bill Plant at the White House, thanks for being with us. Other news today, the Justice Department says it will investigate the case of Miami police officer William Lozano, acquitted Friday in the 1989 deaths of 2 black motorcyclists. Those shootings set off 3 days of rioting in Miami, but this time, Juan Vasquez reports a constant police presence has led to relative calm.
As I said, it was excellent. Everything was real well. We stood our ground when we needed to.
Miami was congratulating itself today for having avoided a major riot. There was scattered violence overnight, but rainy weather helped the police. They never lost control of the streets in spite of the anger and frustration that erupted only minutes after Lozano's acquittal.
On a 34 at 30 and 87.
The police made more than 60 arrests, and there were reports of injuries as well. But whenever angry crowds would gather, they were quickly dispersed by tear gas and overwhelming force. A mob that tried to attack a police substation was eventually repelled.
It was just a gang of juvenile criminals, that's it. And once we took care of them, dispersed them, the streets were safe and quiet.
Today, the same street corner was tense but calm.
Took the register, the television, the VCR.
One of the few neighborhood stores hit by looters was trying to reopen for business. The overall damage was relatively minor. By and large, this was a riot that never got off the ground because the police would not allow it.
Well, I think the thing that kept the peace last night was an organized, professional, highly visible police presence and restraint on the part of the community.
If you ain't white, you ain't got no rights.
But the anger remains. Miami's black community feels dispossessed and disrespected, and experts believe it will take more than a show of force and police discipline to heal the divisions in the community. Juan Vasquez, CBS News, Miami.
And still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, an apparent neo-Nazi arson attack kills 5 people in Germany. And summer movies. Hollywood aims for the family audience.
Can a razor cut your beard below the skin without the blades touching your face? It can if it's a Norelco. Because inside the floating heads, our lift and cut system lifts the hair so when it's cut, it can drop below skin level without the blades touching your face. Are you shaving this incredibly close and comfortable? You are when you shave with Norelco. Norelco, we make close comfortable.
Attention thieves, flimsy locks on doors. Fencing back is so high, nobody can see you. Easy access windows, take your time.
It's the obvious but overlooked things that attract burglars to your house. To help make your home burglar-proof, see your Allstate agent. You're in good hands with Allstate.
These gardeners have just been acclaimed world's champions. What's the secret of their success?
I use Miracle Grow and only Miracle Grow.
Miracle Grow is the best.
It's not nothing like Miracle Grow.
Hey, if world champion gardeners depend on Miracle Grow, shouldn't you?
When I get gas, I may look like this, but I feel like this, painfully bloated with gas.
GasX has the power to relieve gas faster than antacids.
So I feel like me again.
Painful gas needs the power of GasX.
The last remaining major Muslim enclave in eastern Bosnia, the town of Gorazda, appears in danger tonight of falling to Serbian forces. Muslim-controlled radio says Bosnian Serbs have broken through defense lines around the city and report many casualties. Neo-Nazis are suspected in Germany's deadliest attack against foreigners since reunification. The attack came hard on the heels of a parliament vote to tighten the country's immigration laws. Bill McLaughlin has more on the violence in Solingen, Germany.
This is the latest scene of racist violence in Germany. 5 Turks, including 2 small girls, were killed when an arson attack swept this house in the German steel town of Solingen. Most of the victims were trapped when an explosion engulfed the house, home for an extended family of Turkish workers. Police said the attack was probably the work of a neo-Nazi gang. Last November, right-wing extremists set fires that killed 3 Turks in the northern town of Merlin. Anti-right-wing protests erupted throughout the country, and 2 neo-Nazi party members are now on trial for those murders. Today, the reaction was peaceful but solid, and thousands of anti-racist marches protested in Solingen, Frankfurt, and Berlin. The German government was quick to offer apologies to Turkey. Foreign Minister Klaus Kinkel promised a speedy investigation and punishment of those responsible. The overnight attack came just days after violent demonstrations in Bonn against a vote in favor of a tougher law to cut down the number of foreigners who can live in Germany. Bill McLaughlin, CBS News, London.
50 years ago this month, the tide turned against Germany in World War II's Battle of the Atlantic. U.S. and other veterans of that battle met in England today to share their memories. Barry Peterson was there.
To the heart of Liverpool, they marched proudly, the veterans remembering their days of fear, their days of glory, and remembering those other days when there were no parades. For 4 years, they kept a convoy lifeline afloat, food and arms from America to Britain to fight a war. The price was terrifying. Every month, thousands of British, American, and other sailors lost to an enemy unseen. A torpedo was often the first calling card from a German U-boat. But by May 1943, it was the U-boats finally on the run, chased away by Allied aircraft. Today, some of the same planes veterans themselves roared again. For many of these people, this was a day not just about war and remembrance. It was also a day 50 years later about remembrance and reunion. Ken Pearson met the Frenchman he plucked out of the water.
You know, he saved my life, you know. If he was not there, I wouldn't be here today.
That somebody else would have done if I hadn't.
Ted Keane and his friends remembered America as an oasis.
We were totally blacked out during the war. Your convoys were totally blacked out at night. And of course, when we approached New York for the first time, about 30, 40 miles out, the first thing we saw was Coney Island, all illuminated.
Elizabeth was a teenager in 1943. Her father was king. As Jerry and Renee Hermsen from California met her, they remembered their own war. He in the American Navy, she a young English girl in the Royal Navy.
As I walked in the door, there was this beautiful young lady in a green coat that took my heart.
Life was different then. The world seemed simpler.
We were really patriotic in those days. I know it's a word that's kind of frowned on today, but we were.
Patriots then, patriots now. Age did not diminish their pride. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Liverpool.
You've just poured the milk on your bowl of Kellogg's Crispix when something keeps you from it. Good thing Crispix has a special shape that stands up to milk. So even if you can't get to it right away, Crispix still stays crispy and great tasting.
They're still crispy.
Kellogg's Crispix, the taste that waits for you.
Quality results depend on making the right investments. And at Ford Motor Company, that begins with our employees. We invest over $20 million each month in the continuing education and training of our employees, and they, in turn, teach us new things every day. The bottom line, increased motivation and an obsession with quality.
At Ford, an investment in education is an investment in quality.
Ford Motor Company, quality is job one. It's working.
Raymond, why don't you try the cherry pie?
I don't know.
You sure loved cherry yesterday.
When?
When you were constipated.
What?
I gave him this Cherry Phillips. It's a whole new experience.
Try Phillips in smooth cherry and mint with no chalky aftertaste.
Wait till you taste it.
Maybe they should put it on the menu.
Because all pain is not the same. Now there's aspirin-free Bayer Select. Different products for different kinds of pain.
I'm Charles Carroll. Tough battles ahead for the military. Battles within the ranks facing change. That's one of our stories this Sunday morning.
A nationwide chain of restaurants accused of racial discrimination agreed today to work for fairer treatment. Denny's Incorporated and the NAACP said the chain will randomly check its restaurants to make sure that blacks are not being discriminated against. In South Florida, the lingering effects of Hurricane Andrew did not stop high school students from holding their prom last night, and they did it with some help from some friends in Virginia. Reed Galen reports.
Work the hips, come on, stay low, stay low.
It's important to look tough in high school. Show people you can handle whatever comes your way. But it's been a year of constant doubt for Derek Lester. Only now, as he outfits himself for the prom, are things finally starting to fall back into place for Derek and all the students at South Dade High.
I want to look real nice for the prom.
This is the class of Hurricane Andrew. It hit the beginning of the school year. Their homes destroyed, friends moved away, the whole community a mess still.
Sometimes I think about going to pizza and the pizza place is not there, you know.
Even the prom looked like it might be canceled like everything else this year. But up in Reston, Virginia, another group of students just weren't going to let that happen. Somehow, they understood.
When everything's destroyed, to have something like prom that can really come true, it's like a fairy tale.
The Reston students began collecting prom clothes for the kids in South Dade, gave their own things, got donations from others, worked nights and weekends, and sent 2 truckloads down. Michelle Berman still needs a lot more practical things, but nothing else is as important to her right now.
9 months after the hurricane, Michelle and her family are just starting to rebuild their home. They've been living in a trailer ever since. The prom is part of that rebuilding for her. It's not just a free dress.
It's like saying, you know, we haven't forgotten about you guys.
It was just so nice that, you know, that they thought about us.
Letters came flooding back to Reston from those friends never met.
I was surprised that someone out there still cared.
I've been thinking about them a lot lately, trying to, you know, will they use our dresses? Will they wear our suits?
Well, rest assured, Michelle felt like Cinderella going to the ball.
It's like stepping out into another reality.
The hurricane taught them that life can change in a moment forever. This taught Derek that sometimes the unexpected is for the better.
There are good people all around us, we just don't know.
There will be wonderful memories after all for the class of '93. Reed Galen, CBS News, Homestead.
We drove Honda Accords, Toyota Camrys, and Oldsmobile Achivas in 6-hour shifts for 100,000 miles.
The Achieva would be my pick for the best driver's car. It still felt like a new car even after 100,000 miles.
Everybody has the philosophy that Honda makes the best car. I think that Oldsmobile made the best car of all the cars we tested.
For the complete results of this independent real-world test, call 1-800-THE-TEST. It's your money.
It sizzles like summer, and it won't last long. Introducing Red Lobster's Summer Seafood Feast. One of our biggest seafood combinations, just $9.99. With scallops hot off the grill, fried clams, a fish fillet. Plus, you get 2 kinds of shrimp, succulent scampi and golden fried shrimp. Wow, 5 kinds of seafood for an incredibly low $9.99. So hurry in and feast tonight, because the Summer Seafood Feast ends soon. Only at Red Lobster.
This is my Dirt Devil Upright Plus and my Upright Plus XF. Both have plenty of power and loads of accessories. So why 2 models? One's a hardtop and one is a convertible. Drive home a Dirt Devil Upright.
One shot. All it takes for weeds. Roundup.
The Clinton economic plan squeaks through the House. Will it hit a brick wall in the Senate? Budget Director Panetta and Senator David Boren square off on Face the Nation Sunday.
While President Clinton was speaking at West Point today, First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton was visiting military veterans at a Washington hospital. Mrs. Clinton chatted with many of the patients, but she ignored reporters' questions about how her task force health plan might affect veterans. And in his address to the graduating cadets at West Point, Mr. Clinton sought to reassure them about the importance of the military. But still, as Linda Tyra reports, the cadets are entering a world that is drastically reordered.
At West Point, the ideals of duty, honor, country remain the same as they have for generations. But today's cadets are marching to a different drummer.
Left turn, hard!
The class of '93 is being set out into a world in which the U.S. military's role has dramatically changed. Its budget and overall size drastically cut. Even the military academies have been ordered to slash enrollment.
We're more restricted. The force size is shrinking. But that's not always so bad. We can do more with less if we need to.
Peter Benshoff is following in the footsteps of his father, who says nothing's really changed, that the military has always been about the survival of the fittest.
There'll always be some opportunities. They may not be as numerous, but if he's better than the rest, he'll succeed.
Those who do succeed in the post-Cold War Army will have to be prepared for a variety of missions, not only fighting in armed conflicts, but serving in humanitarian operations such as in Somalia, and perhaps peacekeeping roles such as in Bosnia.
As they enter their careers of public service, they face an environment in which innovation and creativity and thinking about things in new ways is going to be very important.
These cadets say they'll rise to the challenge.
If that means helping out people down in Florida, if that means helping out starving people in Somalia, that's what it means.
It's just going to make me much more versatile and be unexpected of what's going to happen.
And so while tomorrow's military leaders are headed into an uncertain future, they are well prepared, ready to go, no matter where and for what reason duty calls. Linda Tyra, CBS News, New York.
Ross Perot keeps dogging President Clinton at every turn, and that's the topic of Bruce Morton's commentary tonight.
President Clinton won a big battle this week, and he really needed a win. His budget fight isn't over, of course. The cranky Senate lies ahead, but he really did need a win. Mr. Clinton got no help, of course, from Ross Perot, who this week announced that the president lacks the background and experience to be president, and suggested he might at best qualify for a middle management job in a medium-sized company. President Clinton has about as much experience in business as Perot does in politics. So maybe Perot could start in a mid-level political job, say a seat in the Texas legislature. He could learn how different the two worlds are. CEOs give orders, politicians must build coalitions. Perot, it is worth remembering, finished third in the presidential election, third out of 3. He got 19% of the vote, which is very good for a third-party candidate, but that doesn't automatically make him wiser than the men who finished ahead of him. Perot always speaks for all of us. The American people want, he says. Now, if George Gallup says that, we assume that his pollsters have been out asking some of us questions. Perot doesn't bother with that. He just knows. He attacks others for vagueness, but his own proposals lack specifics, and there have been complaints that his grassroots organization is in fact tightly controlled from Dallas. Perot has a lot of Washington politicians scared to death. They think he's either Superman or the Oracle at Delphi. He isn't, of course. He's the guy who finished third. Bruce Morton, CBS News, Washington.
And he threw away an entry worth millions of dollars.
And then what happened, Ed?
His wife rescued his entry from the trash.
And obviously mailed it in.
Yes, and they got rich.
That's a great story, but do you realize that right now, somebody could be throwing away the winning number?
Oh, don't let that happen. I'm about to announce the $10 million number on television. It's right around the corner.
Ed's right. There's not much time to return the entry in the sweepstakes with our picture.
Do it today.
You'll never get Wally out of a house cooled by Carrier.
people. And while he stays cool, you save money. Because Carrier air conditioners are so energy efficient, they can cut your cooling bills by up to 40%. So stay cool, save money, call Carrier. We're the inside guys.
There's only one refrigerator guaranteed to keep running and running for your money back. The Maytag refrigerator, the only refrigerator with a 10-year money-back guarantee. Catch it at a Maytag dealer near you.
Headaches can affect you as differently as night and day. For daytime headaches, Anacin contains aspirin and caffeine. Caffeine energizes the aspirin to work better on your headache, so you can work better. Anacin, daytime headache relief.
And finally tonight, this weekend marks the traditional kickoff to the summer movie season. And compared to years past, audiences can expect a kinder, gentler crop of films. Sandra Hughes reports.
This summer, a ticket to the movies is most likely a ticket for family entertainment.
This summer, Arnold Schwarzenegger is Jack Slater, and Jack Slater is the last action hero.
And The Last Action Hero is just one of nearly 24 films to be released this summer that were created with the family rating in mind.
I started thinking about what are the kind of films that I want to show to my children. What kind of movies would I go and see as a family?
It's not good for a kid my age to go see all that blood and the cussing and all that type of stuff. It's not good for a kid because then he thinks that type of stuff is cool when it's not.
What is cool in Hollywood this summer are movies tailored for kids. Jurassic Park, Steven Spielberg's summer release, was shot and edited with the summer trend in mind. The violence in the dinosaur thriller was toned down for a family rating. The old Dennis the Menace series will be director John Hughes' family venture.
They're brothers. They're plumbers.
And Hollywood Pictures will offer its own escapist entertainment this summer by recreating the video game Super Mario Brothers on the big screen.
If you can make a film that will appeal to both a child or a teen and a parent, you can bring both groups together into one film and really maximize your profits.
In fact, the biggest box office hits in history have been films rated G and PG. But in spite of that track record, some parents say Hollywood lost sight of their concerns.
There's been several we've taken them to, and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be really good. And it's like, whoa, this is a little too serious, a little too violent for the kids to see.
It is the one special place where miracles grow.
Filmmakers and stars are hoping that special place will be inside the theater this summer. Analysts predict they may get their wish, fueled by the family film bonanza. They say this summer could be the biggest for the box office in years. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Hollywood.
And that's the news this Saturday. Tomorrow on Sunday Morning with Charles Corral, the future of the military in a time of downsizing. Then on Face the Nation with Bob Schieffer, what's next for the Clinton economic plan with Budget Director Leon Panetta and Senator Dave Boren. I'm Deborah Norville in New York. Thanks for watching and have a good evening.
Experience CBS News.
Many of golf's sharpest shooting legends have won this tournament as tradition-rich as Texas itself. The Southwestern Bell Colonial continuing tomorrow on CBS.
This is CBS.